Okay, here is the joke of the day. Why did the wizard go to school? Because he could spell. Okay, so here we are in the Feywilds. I'm level 7. I got a couple of points doing some Three Barrel Cove stuff, and this is the way I put it into the Tainted Scholar. I took 3 strong pacts. My charisma's 40, my PRR 75, MRR 46, armor class 74. All my saves are over 20. I've got blur, I've got some dodge. My resists are okay. Cold, acid, electric, fire. And we are going to do R4 Feywild. Starting with Wake Me Up. Got my green tea. I'm on DDO's best class, the Warlock.
You awake from your
Might be Dungeons and
slumber.
Dragons
At
best
first,
class.
Things seem as before. You're still at Winwood Hall.
Maybe.
And Melody is still standing beside
Although
the bed.
clerics are pretty kick-ass
Then
too.
you realize that Lord Arden
So
is
I'm
missing.
getting
And
lag,
saw the
and I'm
flower
not
in the
sure
room beneath
why
the
I'm
ritual.
getting it. I don't know if I'm
Melody
getting it
begins
because of the
speaking
recording
in
or if
her
I'm getting it because of
Lord
the
Arden's true name?
internet.
I know it, but it's for me to know and for you to never get. Now, be a good.
You see.
Okay, appears to be better.
You approach a shadowy form that appears to be Lord Arden.
So I have to be really
leaning
careful
out with a worried
of the
expression on his
champions.
face. The figure doesn't notice your presence.
Some of them have damage boosts and they just get so strong. We are doing this at elite streak level, right? The quest is level 5. We are in on Reaper 4. We are level 7. That means the quest is level 7. And the Reaper, when we ramp it up to 4, that makes champions, enhances all of their buffs, especially if we have any damage, you know, a champion with a damage boost.
You spot movement underneath the bridge.
Sorry, my phone was making noise. I had to shut it off.
Looking troll guarding the missing.
So this is Mark of Law. Yeah, so we don't want him to get close to us, although I'm doing a bad job of keeping him
Into the river as the
away
battle
from me. I
progresses.
will Dark Delirium him, so he will stop. I've got Reapers, so I'm going to Color Spray. Got 2. I managed to Color Spray 1 of the Reapers, and now I'm going to Circle Box. It becomes more challenging to Circle Box with the Reaper slow. You know, the Reapers, they put a slow on you. And I don't want this guy to get near me. I'm gonna Color Spray him. So there, we had an issue with the lag. The Color Spray didn't go off a couple of times that I hit it, which is how I got so low. So we are going to tack heal ourselves back up and go to the other side. The other side has some bears, and if they are champions, they can hit really hard. So I have to make sure that I Color Spray them immediately and also do a better job. That got a little bit spicy right there. But I like to keep the content spicy for you guys, so there's some engagement. You know, if you feel like at any moment I'm going to die horribly, then that's exciting YouTube content, right? I don't want this stuff to look too easy. So those spell singers, they do a fire attack that, if they are a champion, can hurt a lot. They're spellcasters, basically. Not sure why that guy went over that way. So this content is significantly harder, mostly because it's new. The newer content in DDO tends to be more challenging than the older content. So we were able to color spray the Angry Bear, which is good because he hits the hardest. I'll try to get them all. The Angry Bear is still alive. I'm going to Dark Delirium him. That worked to keep him still for a second while I
You've recovered the
got the last hit on him.
You've recovered
So each of the sides has a shrine. You can see a shrine here. There's a shrine over at the Troll Bridge, and then there's also a shrine at the beginning behind you. But we are not going to use the shrine. I am going to show you guys how I do this quest, because we are pretty much done fighting until we get into that special area. So I invised myself. Now I'm sneaking, and we are going to stay far away and watch. You see this little eyeball indicator that pops up? We want to watch that as we move, because when we see that eyeball indicator, that means that something is aware of us. As long as we don't see that, we're okay. And so something can see me, but I just moved and it lost me. The worst case scenario is Reaper would see me, because Reapers can see invisible creatures anyway, right? So, but we were able to get in here. So none of that stuff out there we had to worry about. In here, we have to kill the two mobs that are on the outside in order to get the Sandman in the middle. So I'll start this fight. The other two mobs spawn after you start the fight. One of them, this shadow, is a melee, and then the one behind me, the Scholar, he is a spellcaster. So he did not spawn as a champion. So that is good. And then once they are both down, then the Sandman goes down. And so now this is the last fight. Switch to single target Eldritch Blast, because I'm just going after Candace. Cadence.
And find yourself in a strange, empty void.
And she warps around.
That appears to be Lord Arden's resting place ahead.
It's pretty cool. Those of you, if you're playing Baldur's Gate, there is a really cool hag boss in Baldur's Gate. They did such a great job. It gives me new appreciation for these hags that we have in DDO. And so then we have to do the ritual where we wake him up. So we play the lute.
You killed my sister, so I'll...
Then we do the flower.
Do with these vile cauldron leftovers.
And then we
I wouldn't go anywhere near them personally.
say the true name.
Be a deer and die for good.
And that will wake him up, and then the quest is done. We don't have to worry about healing because it's over. So this would be the time you'd put on your voice. I have my voice on.
You need what I have. So then, let's make a deal.
We talked to him and finished it.
We decided to allow Cadence to live.
Easy peasy, right? Easy, except for me almost dying because of the failed color spray.
Lay out the ingredients for the ritual and repeat the steps to reverse the curse. First,
maybe we'll get some loot.
Then,
nope.
wind up the flowers from
What am I kidding?
Next,
Loot?
burn the roots along
You can't
with
get
the
loot in
artist's
DDO unless
name.
you spend money.
You
Don't
play
you
a
know
brief
that?
melody on
You have to
Hastings'
re-roll
lute.
every chest if
Mash
you
the
want a piece
flowers'
of gear.
roots into
That's
a
just the
pulp
way they have
with
it
little
coded.
effort. You set a small
It's not
blaze.
called pay to win.
Drop the crushed
No,
roots
it's called
and
keeping
Lord
the lights
Arden's
on.
True name into it.
But still,
completing the
I
ritual.
refuse to
As
do
the
that
smoke
because
rises,
I feel
Lord
like if I were
Arden's
playing pen and
eyes
paper
open.
DDO,
He
Dungeons and
springs out of
Dragons,
the
pen
bed.
and paper,
Lord Arden thanks
that
you
would
for
be like me
awakening him
saying,
from his
okay, we
curse.
just killed the
He
dragon
urges you
to the
to speak
DM.
with
Is
him
there any
back at
loot? And
Winwood
he
Hall
says
in the
to me,
Waking World.
yeah, there's loot if you buy me a pizza. Yeah, you can have the dragon loot if you buy me a pizza. No, I already killed the dragon. Just give me my loot. I shouldn't have to pay you as dungeon master to give me my loot. So I have a fundamental issue with the whole reroll chests after you do the quest. If you want to give me that reroll before I do the quest, so I don't have to do the quest, and I can just roll money for loot, which would be complete pay to win, at least that would be a little bit more like I've already worked in real life for the money. I'll give it to you and you give me the weapon. That way I don't have to do the quest, you know, for people who farm certain things. But I really like playing the game, so I don't actually care if I get loot. Yeah, I like it. Especially this Feywild loot is amazing. But, you know, like, you've already got my... I'm a VIP. You've already got my money. I shouldn't have to roll. Anyway, I won't go off on a rant. You guys... I care too much about you to start ranting. I've broke many a soapbox. So, using the necklace of the glib tongue
A motley group
and
of red
bluff,
caps guards the gate ahead.
a social
It's
skill,
strange
I will tell
that a
these
noble of
guys
the
to leave,
summer court
and
would
they do.
retain those violent,
So I don't have to fight
unpredictable
them.
creatures as servants.
Just
A curious
rolled a
tree
44.
stands here by itself.
I can also,
A single
I believe,
brilliantly
bluff
red
this
apple
tree
hangs from one of
by
its
using-
branches.
and I have plus 44. I rolled a 10.
With a quiver of excitement, the tree
So
drops
I did
the
it.
apple at your feet.
I'm not exactly sure what the number is, but I should be able to do everything. Now, I don't have
The
diplomacy,
sprawling
so I will have to
seems
fight
deserted.
inside
A
because
lone
that
tower looms
is a
ahead.
very high diplomacy
Lord
check.
Xavier
The fight
will
that's
likely be found
inside the
inside.
castle.
What
But
can I do for you, Outlander? Lady White Lily has requested that you find her
What can
a
I
we
do for
will
you,
try
A frivolous request, it
My
seems.
part in this
to
story
skip as
is
much
that
fighting
Feywild.
as possible.
Small promises
Time
may
to
have
rest.
strange consequences.
I have
This
no idea what the
storehouse is
answers to these
occupied
riddles are.
by a very energetic chest.
What kind of a game do
It
you want to
gapes
play?
at
He
you with
wants
a
to do a riddle.
big,
Okay, but
toothy
isn't the
grin and
time-honored
spits.
tradition to give us 3 guesses? Yes. Okay, riddle away. You have 3 guesses.
What
Let us
five-letter word becomes shorter when you
What
add
5
two
lever
letters to it?
5 levers. We've got 5 levers. 5-letter word becomes shorter when you add 2 letters to it. Isn't it that word? Right. Give me my reward. Okay, so this guy will give us the blessing. Okay, so we've got the token. And now we go and we do the cook who is being invaded by redcaps. And we will bluff them away. So we don't have to do any fighting out here. Because you can't get Fey twisted
A gnome
chests
towers at the
in
back of
heroic,
this
we're not
smithy,
going to bother with
surrounded
the
by menacing red
water
caps.
elementals.
Your instincts tell you he won't have long to live unless you intervene.
Oh, he's not a cook. He's a smith. Right. Okay, so we did him. And now we go to the door and say, hey, I've got the 3 keys. I want in. And it's going to let us in. I will try the diplomacy check for these
The tower
mobs in
is
here.
true friend none may a true friend may enter.
So this end fight can be very challenging because the hags throw force
As you reach for the door,
darts,
a swirling
and they
torrent
hit
of
really
snowflakes
hard.
envelops you. Yet
So
you aren't
I'm
harmed.
probably
You don't
going
even feel
to
cold.
pop
A peculiar dog guards this door.
Teal just to grab some of their aggro so they don't nuke me all at once for that fight. Alright, this is a little too wild. Color springs. The things have a lot more hit points than they did in the last group of quests that we did. See a cookie. Okay, so you can Diplo these if you have a high Diplo, so make sure I have my
One
good
of them
hope.
holds up a hand to hail you.
And let's try
I would parley before we come
Diplo.
to blows.
Oh, I
You may
succeeded
step
on the
forward
first
with
roll.
safety
I have a
to
plus
speak.
35, but I rolled a 20. I think I need to roll a 20 again. Oh, I did it, but I only rolled a 5. So that's a DC of 40. I have a third roll. Hopefully, if it's 5 or better, hopefully I don't roll a 1. Okay, that's great. So that means that I was able to bluff my way through and then Diplo my way through. So I don't have to fight any of the guards. The only other fight that I have prior to the end is the red caps on that last floor, and also any random reapers, which clearly they are still around. So the reaper, I think, will die before it gets here. Yeah. All of those NPCs are now neutral, so they didn't even care that there was a reaper. But this makes it a lot easier. In case you're wondering where I got that necklace, the glib tongue necklace, it comes from the Mimic event.
Most of these Eladrin appear to be
Color
victims
spray.
of the red
Okay,
caps.
color spray work. Got most of them.
Replace Greymoss must be
That is a
desperate.
Mimic reward. They have a couple of cool rewards. They have a good cloak, but that necklace is really, really great if you do any sort of intimidate or bluff or diplomacy.
You have reached
So,
the top of the
this
tower, where a regal Eladrin silently
fight
awaits your approach.
can
It
be
appears
really
to be alone.
challenging. The 418
Fool, I'm still
hit
here.
points. You can get up on this.
But your
If you can
precious
get up on it with a
Greymoss
good
is
jump.
dead. Trusting idiot.
And I
Who
need to
told
make
you
sure.
the
Okay, I have
Prince of
Death
Frost
Ward
wanted you dead?
on.
Me?
I'm going to recast
Who
my
said these
jump.
Outlander dotes were his tools? Yeah, me.
You know what
But
I'm
it
also
was
going to do
you
is pop
who
this
were
Reveler's
supposed to
Regalia.
die willingly on their blade
That will help my
as
critical.
a distraction while I do Harrison's bidding.
So I have a minute
But
and a
no,
half
guess
on
I
that.
just have to kill you all myself now.
Okay, so they should be popping now. Yeah, there we go.
The hag's
And
form
hopefully-
splits into several mirror images.
Hopefully my
To watch the close
chain shape will kill everything. Yeah, see, I'm getting tore up. The force attacks. I think, though, a Reaper warped up there with me. Because there's one, like, right behind me. Yeah. Alright, I have one cake. Yeah, this is definitely, like, so ridiculous. Look at, they're not even, I still have 4 of them. But if it weren't for the Reaper warping up there, I think probably I would have been alright. I also have a Gibbers. So how about, because I want to basically play where, if I Gibbers, I'll have a minute to kill everything as I die. So we'll try that. We'll try Gibbers. And then once the quest is over, then I can just leave. I won't be able to loot because I'll probably be dead. But that's if I survive. If I don't, then I'll just cake and finish it. But I know not everybody runs with cakes, so. Alright, so there we go. Make sure that I get myself buffed quickly. And then start again. Alright, so the Reaper is dead. And now I'm gonna burn down the witches. Now, as an undead, I have a little bit more defense. So there's 2, there's 3, there's the last one. So hopefully we can talk to him
The hag dies,
before we
screeching
rot
the
to
last.
death and end
After
this.
a moment, the Viscount rises to his feet and
So
bursts.
Gibbers, if you farm, we finished it. Oh, we can even loot before we die, and then we have to leave. So I got the gloves. That's great. Let's see if I can loot this chest before I die. Come on. Okay, we were able to loot it. So I'm going to die in 2 seconds, and then we're just gonna leave. Release, and this will take me probably back to Korthos, because I don't think I've changed my. But we were able to do it. So Gibber, it's really worth farming for the Gibber's Blade, especially if you do Reaper questing, because you can get back up and res people, and you can use those Gibbers in a raid. That's like, I think I consider that to be one of the hardest quests out there, is at level. Like that end fight is just stupid hard because you can't mitigate the force damage that they do, and there's so many of them. And then if a Reaper spawns, which one did, and he got up next to me, I didn't even notice it. So that was the first death. But it was a success because we were able to finish.
The party here is in full swing, and Cascading Springs Cottage is clearly the worst.
Okay, I'm gonna jump around the corner and color spray immediately
On the raucous satyrs.
to try to start the fight with initiative. So there's no initiative in DDO, but my attempt at winning initiative. So the pixies, something's hitting me. I think it's the pixie. $420 hit points, and they burn through it really quickly. So a little tack heal, refresh my temporary hit points. I'm gonna color spray again. Try to get away from the champion cat that can trip me. Yep, he just did trip me. I'm shield blocking. Try to color spray again, and the Famine Reaper did not get color sprayed. The other stuff did. Famine Reaper got blinded from the color spray, but he didn't get frozen. Okay. Difficulty for the quests go way up between new and old.
As you enter the courtyard. Hello there.
Feywild is
Welcome to our
very
house.
new content,
There's
so
food in
the
kitchen
mobs
and
are
drink.
a
Well,
lot stronger and they can do a lot more
Before I see
dangerous
And
things.
make yourself at home, and don't forget to pour one out for our dear host.
This room is filled with pixies.
May his slumbers be peaceful. The lush collection of potted plants suggests that this room
And a
is
Carnage Reaper.
conservative.
I have to Dark Delirium him because he went right around the color spray. No, it looks like the color spray hit him and blinded him, but he did not get stunned by it. So that's my DC. My DC on the color spray isn't high enough. So I need to do something about that. You cannot slot a gem of illusion until level 16, I believe.
note
So I'd
next
have
the
to
sack of
use
seeds
some
reads,
piece of random
"Cycling.
gen gear with
Keep
illusion
away from
DCs
sunlight
on
and
it.
damp
Likely
soil.
that's what I'll try to
Drop
do.
a few of the magic seeds on the ground.
At level 8, I
Huge
think I have my
weeds burst
charisma
from
on
the
a
earth,
different
and the
item,
thirsty
then I can
plants
get rid of
quickly
the
drain the
necklace that I'm
moisture from
wearing.
the surrounding
I can
soil.
use an illusion DC necklace. It would give me another +2. And that will probably help for the Reapers. Because blind is good. It gives them a disadvantage, right? It gives them a -4. But we really need to stop them. Like, we want the freeze to work. Like that. That worked. Now, I do have web as well that I could use. There's the key.
This large
You're just
key is
looking for the
labeled
key.
Spring House. It
So
seems
usually
someone was trying to
it's
hide
there,
it.
but if it's not there, then it is straight ahead and then around the corner to the right. It can also be in the room to the right and then left, but we got lucky. We got it in the first location. And we got really lucky too, because there's no mobs in this hallway.
It's surprising to find a large, well-stocked library in a house given over to an endless party. It's even more surprising to find a sphinx sitting in the
Okay,
middle of
talk
it.
to him.
The librarian tells you that you could
Then you
end
mess
the
up his
party if you
books.
could somehow make it so that Cascading
Then you
Springs
tell
Cottage
him,
was no longer Cascading Springs
I
Cottage.
just messed up your
Then Lord
books.
Arden's deal with the
And he
Satans
leaves, and then you
no
can grab
longer
the sign.
apply.
Water elementals in here. I have to make sure that there's no champion
Water
that
gushes up from the ground in one corner of the room, forming
gets a free
large
cast
pool.
on me.
This must be the cascading
They can
spring
hit
the house
very
is named
hard.
after.
These water elementals. Yeah, there's a champion right there. Oh, he's a flameborn, so that's... Oh, he hit me really hard. Oh, the Soul of Ice. Yeah, Soul of Ice water elemental is like the worst. Okay, we're up to normal.
Towering weeds spring up the
Pick up the
instant you
barrel.
cast the magic seeds on the ground. The
Break
twisting
these
branches
barrels.
Suck up every drop of water nearby, leaving
And then we're done.
Cascading Springs dry as a bone.
You don't need to break the
This
barrels, I
large
break them.
barrel
Now you
has
could
large
dimension
flashes
door here,
powder in large letters.
but if you don't have
Even
dimension
larger
door,
letters
you just
below
run
are the
back
words, "Keep
exactly
away
the
from
same
open
way
flame."
that we came in. Literally the same exact route. So you're not going to flag any new monsters. If you have a trapper, there's a chest and traps right in that room there. You can get it, but we don't care, really. So the first thing you do is you give the giant explosive barrel to this flame-loving guy, and then
Careless satyr swings his
he
torch
will
too
walk
close
away
to
from the
powder
sign,
keg,
and
which
then we can
explodes
switch
in a
them,
shower of sparks.
which we
The
just did.
partygoers turn
And
to
now we
gold
tell him,
at
hey
the
man,
second.
look, it says be
It's a
quiet.
simple task to remove the sign.
And then he's going to
The
get
satyrs are
all
still distracted by the recent
up in our
fire.
grill.
You deftly
And then
replace
we
the
show
cottage
him
sign
the
with a
hand.
sign from the library. Seething with anger, the master of the rebels reluctantly agrees to
Soul
join.
cruelty I am using as my focus. Okay, he's gone. So now I'll use the boss as the focus.
deal says we can't rip you to shreds on our way out.
So you can see the quality of the end fight comparatively.
The rebels have
This
violent
end fight
enemies, and
is
not
great,
only the satyrs
and
expect-
nowhere near the difficulty of the one that we just died in. That fight is just dumb. Oh, and I got a crown of fireflies. That's great. So for this one, we are going to use color spray and dark delirium.
You enter
I
the
will
grove
dark
the villager
delirium
told you about. and spot
the
a small
gem
encampment in the distance.
wearing
Perhaps the night the village
topiary lion,
a hearty voice calls
and
as they
hope
approach.
that
Are you
blocks
here
it. But
to
I
help us
also
slay
have
the
web,
great
so
beast?
likely I'll just spew a bunch of webs on the lion to stop it as well. Hopefully this one goes well. It's not a long quest. This quest can be done really quickly if you have a solid group. I want the extra points from talking to her. There you go. Okay. It's only 100 XP, but why not?
Well, if you don't believe me,
She will help you fight out here, but she's not very smart.
To your surprise, spindly legs
So I just need to find the lion that has the gemstone in his head. It's right here. Here's my web. I've got him. I'm not sure if he's close enough. I hope so. Yes, he was. He was close enough for me to get the first one. That's great.
Windmill seems undaunted by your weapons and spells.
So we'll burn some of this stuff down and look for the next. Here's the next one. I'm going to color spray to get that elemental, and then web this guy. So I've got him webbed, and that should be enough to catch him. Okay, so we only have one left. She's done a good job at taking these other lions and occupying them. We're going to help her out, because here's the next lion, and here's my web, and that's the quest. So, easy peasy. You just have to have a means to like stop that lion. Web works, trip works.
still, you came to my aid in the end.
Forming this ancient
Okay,
center of
combating
the
corruption on R4. This quest can be a challenge because there are a lot of blights and they do piercing damage. There's also
These
a
root
possibility,
tunnels are full of
if
life,
there's a shambling
yet
mound
some
that is a champion,
seems off. A
they can
sense
do
of
just
unease.
ridiculous amounts of damage. So we have to be really careful of them. We are actually going to
An
do
ugly
a dimension
red
door
magic
trick
barrier blocks
to
the way
skip
down
a
to
couple of the
tree's
fights.
heart. A strange red light fills these root tunnels.
But we have to
draining
open
away
this
the
front
life
door
in you.
first by
The
hitting
barrier
both of
flickers out
these
as the first
hallways.
orb
So
is destroyed.
we hit that one, hit that one, and then
That sense of
back up
unease felt
to the fight from the hall.
The barrier
Try to
collapses
stay
when the
far
third
away
orb
from
is
them.
destroyed, lifting the
Let my
sense of
chain
dread
shape
from this
kind of
area.
work its magic around the corners. Stay way away from that named, or the champion. So I had to Dark Delirium him. So luckily the cats fight the blights, and I don't want to fight that Soul of Ice cat.
A second barrier blocks.
It's just a lot of
You
blights,
expect there are
and
more
I'm
orbs.
kind of hoping that we would have got different monsters in the Feywild, because the blights to me are, you know, like a Barovia monster. So Color Spray failed on that Plague Reaper, but I was able to Dark Delirium him. So that's, again, like if you're going to play on a higher Reaper, it's really helpful to have multiple methods to CC, whatever it is. So in legendary content, people usually throw Hold Monster, but I could be slinging webs, but webs don't work on Reapers anyway, and it's really like the Reapers for a champion, so I can do it with the single target Dark Delirium. Unless there's more than one, I would just have to basically kite and try to Color Spray again. These blights cannot be Color Sprayed. They can be blinded. So a couple of them are blinded now, but they won't be dazed or stunned or whatever the effect is from color spray. I think it's a daze. So the shambling mounds are right here, and I have seen champions of these like one-shot people, so to be really careful. There's one there, and then there's one on the other side. Hopefully the chain shape will weaken this one. Yeah, so it's a champ, but we got lucky. The Crown of Snow procced and put it in ice, and he hit me once. He hit me once for like 120. Maybe more. It may have been even more. I'm sure it says it in the log there, but it was a lot, whatever the number was. Scary. Okay, and then there's one here. Grab the collectible since I'm standing right next to it. And then we have to drop out of our Eldritch Blast to beat on the door because for some reason Eldritch Blasts don't work. So I have to physically punch the door with my staff. Now, when you shut off the Eldritch Blast, you might think, wow, that's that. But no, I cannot move now. There's some bug when you move and shut off your blast, my movement speed right now is like minus 90%. I can hardly move. And it's directly because I turned off my blast. See, if I turn it back on, I start running normally. So that bug has been part of Warlock since forever, and I don't know if they are aware of it or if they've tried to fix it and they just can't, but it's very annoying and very strange, right? Isn't it weird? Like, why would it do that? I don't know. Anybody who plays a Warlock, though, knows about it. Oh god, I have to color spray these before they murder me. Ah, the cruelty. Ah, I Dark Delirium, he's really trying to kill me, though. Yeah, that's scary, because he could trip me. Color spray. Alright, so I was able to stop him. This one got stopped. Yeah, these cats are scary, because they can trip. And I don't have knockdown immunity, so I'm much too low level. Fire beetles, if it's a champion, the fire can hit you for a lot. So I have to stay out of that pandemonium. See if I can freeze that Carnage Reaper. Got him. Okay, let's get this champ dead. Okay. Yeah, that champ did not hit that hard. Some of them just hit way too hard.
Dread and loss mount to explore this portion of the tunnel.
Color spray to blind them. Alright, the color spray. So I think part of the issue is that, you know, it's a stance, like the Eldritch stance here, and sometimes it doesn't let me throw a color spray if I'm in the middle of blasting. So I think that's what's happening. Like, I'm trying to color spray, but it's just not signaling that it's been told to color spray. And that's part of the Eldritch Blast user interface thing, because I have to switch it on. Similar to what happens to my movement, like it prevents me from activating certain abilities. Luckily, Dark Delirium isn't impacted. getting scary champions. And I have to drop out. Now, if I don't move and I turn off the stance, then I move normally. The bug only occurs if you shut it off while you're moving. So this, we are going to break that orb and then jump in a dimension door to get out of here. Because we're done. We just have to go back. So there's the orb, and there we go. So now we're good to continue. So we can skip a bunch of fighting. If you needed to shrine now, you would shrine because we're headed to the end.
Collapses in on itself with an audible crackle.
Any of these champions, if they do their little fire attack, yeah, see, look at that. He put a dot on me. They can hit so hard. I got dotted by a poison and fire. Yeah, and it did a couple of hundred damage to me immediately. So that can one-shot somebody with low hit points. You have to be really careful of those fire beetles. I know sometimes I see people dying to them on Hardcore League, and you always think, well, the other place I see them is out in the Borderlands. Did the person die to a fire beetle out in the Borderlands? No, on Reaper, they're much, much scarier. Like, way scarier. Okay, I've got the fear dot. I'm just gonna attack heal myself through it. Alright, so favorites, this Void Fang, he does not have Death Ward. He's got dodge, fortification, and extra damage. So extra damage means that we don't want him to get anywhere near us. So I'm going to try to color spray him. And he saved versus the color spray, so there's the Dark Delirium. I'll throw a web just to see if that helps. The web didn't activate, and it's okay though, he's dead. Scary. These monsters are trying to kill me.
With a single magic
Okay, so this dude,
snaps the barrier back
I need to
into
make
place.
sure. I'm going to
However,
put freedom of movement on
notice
myself. I'm going to refresh my death ward. I'm going to refresh jump. I have to make sure I stay out of his evil eye beam, because that can kill me. So I switched to single target. And I'm going to activate my tainted spell casting that gives me more spell power. And try to stay behind him. It looks like I can hit him from here. Not sure if he can hit me. Yep, I gotta get out of that. He hasn't been able to land one of his curses on me. If he does, then I won't be able to move. So while he's doing that, I can just burn him down. Perfect. He's kind of scary if you get caught in that I-beam. I believe they gave that I-beam to the new skin warlocks. Can do that.
The Fomorian is dead, and the ritual ended.
The game must have heard me go off on my rant about rolling for loot, because I've gotten a piece of loot in every chest so far. If we die, we can gibbers. Hopefully, we don't get any crazy bad elementals in that last room. They can be very, very nasty. So give myself all the buffs.
A deep voice booms through the cavern.
And false life.
Come back, stranger. Weak reeds are not welcome in my workshop.
And we already saw how hard these fire beetles can hit, so I want them to stay far away from me if they're a champion. There is a fireborn one. Yeah, he just unloaded. Wow. Oh, they're just nasty. I'm not sure what to do about that champion. He is just nasty with that fire. I have to go up. We're gonna seek high ground. Get me out. Alright. Better. The attack healing is slow, which is the only unfortunate part about it. Once we get heal scrolls, it gets a little bit better, but we have to deal with, too, the reduced healing in Reaper. So that's why the heals are only 6 or 7. We can get a crit, but I haven't seen a crit. So that fire beetle is a fire champion, which is the reason why it hurts so much. Flameborn. See, that's the guy right there. We need to burn him down. Okay, he's dead. Oh, it looks like they all hurt anyway. Yeah. Scary. There's more of them. And they pop in the last fight too. This may be a very difficult quest to do. You know what? Just because I don't want them to randomly spawn on me, I'm going to kill that one. Oh, I just realized too, one of the issues I was having is that I wasn't in chain shape. So I just got 3 Reapers. Probably should not have attacked them. Alright, we're going to use that frozen one as our focus. We'll use this frozen one as our focus since we've got chain active again. And then it looks like all the Reapers are down. I just didn't want any of these fire beetles chasing me, but it's probably a bad idea to attack them. I should have just went through this door. Okay, there's a Reaper. Try to color spray him. Alright, I got a blind on him, but not a stun. See, having those beetles behind us dead allows us to kite a little bit into that hallway since we're alone. Yeah, this last fight is going to be definitely interesting. Let's just make sure I've got everything. I've got Death Ward, got my false life.
A dryad leaps from the tree. Sensing your surprise, she motions for you to speak with her.
You know what I might do to make this a little easier on myself is I may go invisible and then try to color spray a few of these dogs. And after the dogs are dead, I'll go invisible again. I don't know what they're doing over there. Right. Oh, there's one dog left. Okay, invisible. And now I will try to color spray these lions. I got a couple of them. use that middle cat as the focus there. Alright, invisible. And try to color spray these blink dogs. Use the one that is frozen as my focus. So anyone that's frozen, try to color spray them again. Pick a frozen one and use him as the focus. Okay, and then I'm going to go invisible after he dies. And we should get an elemental or 2 or 3. So I'm going to Dark Delirium that Fire Ellie and try to color spray this one. And then I'm going to use the color sprayed Earth Ellie as the focus. I got Earth grabbed by one of the other Earth Ellies. And you can see, like, yeah, it's just so much damage. And you know why? There's a champion, this dude right here is the one that did it. He was almost dead, too. Look how close he was to being dead. That's just bad. 61 points of damage, but his produced flame hit me for 163. So I will... Okay, so here's the thing. If I gibbers, I don't have enough time between this fight because I still have to fight her and the beetles before the shrine pops up. So likely the best use right now is for me to cake invis and then heal myself up. So cake, invis, and then heal. Because if I gibbered, I probably would die before the fights were finished, and then I would have to use the res kick anyway. So I'm also, to help me out, since I don't know what to expect in the next one, if we got like a champion fire beetle, we already saw how nasty those things can be. Okay, I've got myself all buffed up again, and I will start fighting once my death penalty is off. And I've got that champion fire elemental targeted. So it's really going to help when I get my TC up. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start blasting. And we're just going to make sure that I've got my hit points up. And we're going to jump out and hit that. And so the one that killed us is dead. Just keep moving.
To complete the test.
Alright, invisible again. And now here come the fire beetles and the boss. I'm going to use her as the focus. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use the Earth Elemental as the focus. And I just Dark Delirium him. Oh god, I've got a dot on me. I'm probably going to die. Yeah, it's just too much damage from those. So we're going to gibbers. And hopefully... Now, because we're at the end, once she dies, there'll be a shrine that pops up right there. We can just res once the gibbers. So what you have to do with gibbers, as far as I'm aware, you have to make sure that you don't have the death penalty if you're going to do it. And we'll do the same thing that we did before. We'll hide. And then I don't have the time to wait for my death penalty to be off because I start rotting immediately. So what I'm going to do is gibbers and then basically throw a false life on myself and then start attacking them again. And hopefully I can get through this. I'm going to ignore her because she's not what killed me. It was these fire beetles. So I've got the 2 champions down. And then I've got 2 more to go as I continue to rot.
You may enter.
And you can see that I got hit again by them. They're just so nasty, those things. But there's the shrine. There's the resurrection shrine. So I will die, and then I'll be able to res, and then I'll be able to finish the quest. Super messy, but we did it. It only cost us 1 res cake. So, you know, it's worth carrying a res cake, and you can get a free res cake. You don't need to buy it. You can get a free one by doing the starter, the intro stuff in Korthos. They give you the ability to trade. I think you spend 5 DDO points that you earn that really quickly by doing the favor questing in the harbor. You can buy a bottle of whatever it is. I think it's a bottle of wine, and then you trade it for a starter res cake, which you then use, because the res cake that I use basically identical to the starter res cake. So there we are. That's that. We kind of knew going in that R4 Feywild solo would be a complete disaster. And this quest, look at that, 10,000 XP. I got 30-something thousand for doing gibbers. For doing, you know, out in Three Barrel Cove, fire caves give like 20-something thousand. This quest is so difficult, and it gives 10,000. They don't have the XP right for this one. This one should be a lot more. But we did get a pair of boots, and they have a Reaper enhancement of +5 PRR and MRR. So we're going to use that. We're going to trade in, because I won't wear these boots, but we will trade them in at the Hall of Heroes and get a Reaper fragment, and then I eventually can use that to make a Reaper bonus on my Crown of Snow, which I likely will do on this heroic Crown of Snow that I'm wearing, because I will be able to equip it at level 5, and that will give me +2 on my stats. Look at, I also got a Mythic 4 heavy pick. Now, I won't use it, but it's nice to see that we got a Mythic 4. That's great. So I'm not even going to bother recalling, and I need to go repair because we died. So I got a couple of points. So I've got 1 point. What we'll buy is core tier 3 for staunch. So if I had that, I could have popped it for that last fight. We'll pick up on snow. We'll do snow side next time,